You asked us the questions, and we've got the answers. I'd like to present to you our very first Ask Me Anything episode here on the Baseline feed. We asked our patrons and our beloved Discord community to submit questions for the BLF team to answer on air. Here, we talk about the roots of the podcast and some of our individual methods of bringing stories to life. We wanted to keep this more of an informal response, and we might get a little bit off track sometimes, so please forgive us. For the sake of time, we know this episode is quite long. Let's just go for it. Let's just get this thing rocking and rolling. How about that? I got a whole list of questions over here for us. We're doing the Ask Me Anything episode from Baseline Feed. I'm Tanner Wood.
I'm CM Peters, aka Julie.
I am Jay Wood or Julia, Tanner's wife.
Who else we got on management? We got two more knuckleheads over here.
This is Evan Jaffe, just straight goob.
Uber. Mo, you got to say something. Introduce yourself.
That's
Man.
a
I am Mo.
my man.
Let the people know.
The silence is Mo.
He just blows smoke.
All right. Well, we're gonna.
It's recorded. It's not filmed.
That's correct.
Oh, good. I was about to switch over to my phone to not be the one odd man out. I'll buy a webcam eventually.
I gotta turn the camera off or else I'll lose internet.
So I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna go from the top.
Focusing back on the task at hand.
Focus. Okay. Since we're here, we've gotten the old introductions out of the way. Why don't we just fucking hop into it here? I'm not gonna go in order. We got a big list of questions here. From the folks that are interested in the podcast.
Are we having an audience right now?
We have User and Kathleen.
Just us.
Yeah. We had Neil earlier, so that was kind of cool. So we're gonna go like this. We got a bunch of them here. Let's start with one that kind of fits the beginning here. This one's from TJ Hodder, our boy from the Hodder Show, and he does the Dread Files on Reddit, right?
Yeah. He's got the Dread Files, and he's got his tapes of trepidation on his Patreon.
Yeah, his Patreon tapes of trepidation.
Legit guy.
Get it? Should go get it. It's good. I'm telling you.
So his first question that we're going to tackle here is, where did the name of Baseline Feed come from?
I
Julie?
would like to know as well.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, we brainstormed a lot to find something that would stand out. We didn't want just something podcast is one thing that we agreed on. We wanted a name that would be different.
that encapsulated what we're actually trying to do here, because we're trying to we're serving as basically a kickoff point for folks that want to get into voice acting, writing stories, producing things, composing music. We don't really have a whole lot of knowledge in composing music yet, but we're getting there. We're gathering some folks who are good at that. So we wanted to make sure that we pervade the whole idea of what we're intending to do. So we threw a fuck ton of ideas around. I can't remember. I wish I can go back into our messages to find them.
Oh, the list.
They were terrible. They're so bad.
I don't think they're that bad, but
I don't even remember all the other ideas we had. I just remembered that when we said baseline and then the word feed came up, and we're on to something, and we finally.
Yeah, because we were serving as like a kickoff point, a baseline for these creatives, and it's an RSS feed. So that was
we're going to feed new talent to you.
Yeah.
And also that.
Yep.
There you go. We'll go with that.
Feed her. Feed her.
Nom 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 nom.
Feed me. Okay. That was a simple question. Just to kind of jump into the whole thing here.
How about what inspired you to start this podcast and stay with it?
Oh, I like that.
There we go.
I like that question.
I was like, that's the next logical one after the name.
Yeah.
So one of our most beloved patrons, Queen Cam, shout out girl, what's up? She asked, what inspired you to start this podcast and stay with it? Well, we wanted to do voice acting for a different podcast I'll just say it. I mean, because we're over it. We're grown ups here. So we started doing some work with the gray rooms. Like we were all, I'm pretty sure most of us were patrons for that podcast, and that's kind of how we met. Kind of started collaborating, throwing ideas back and forth, and then just trying to get into because I wanted to be a voice actor in the Gray Rooms podcast because it's wacky, it's nuts. It was scary, it was creepy, it was gross, and for whatever reason, we love that kind of stuff. I guess all of us kind of love that stuff because we're
Squishy noises.
Yeah, squishy noises and death and demons slashing each other with demon stuff. So we're trying to get involved with the podcast, whether it was writing stories. Julie had written a story for them that got accepted, so she submitted that and they got produced. So she was already involved. I had talked with the producer himself, and I got a role to do one of their patron episodes that was part of their Bane series.
Cats.
Yeah, the cat.
I don't care. I still love cats.
Yeah, cats are gross. They can stop. But we wanted like an outlet that we could collaborate with people who were newer writers, newer voice actors, help each other out, and just create something. And I think we talked about it in our original interview with TJ Hodder. Shout out, my boy. What's up? There goes my train of thought. Shit.
What were you talking about with TJ? With
TJ, we were talking about because he asked us the same question. There was an interview that I had seen. No, we're not. Yeah, I had seen an interview with Seth MacFarlane, and somebody had asked him the same kind of question, like, "How did you get into this industry? What made you want to keep doing it?" And he said, "Well, I tried to, auditioning here, auditioning there, and nobody wanted me. They said my voice was too perfect, and that's obviously not the case for me. But he said the best thing that he did was just create his own content, create his own stories, and just do it. It's not jumping into somebody else's world. It's creating your own world and your own community and your own audience. And that's part of what inspired me to just get excited about creating something, putting it out there. I don't really care if people listen to it. I mean, I do obviously because people are awesome and an audience would be super duper.
Well, yeah, those
words kind of kept push me onto the tracks to ride this train to the end.
Yeah. In my case, my main idea when Tanner and I started talking, I wanted a talk radio style podcast. That's what I was aiming for. I had talked about it with a friend, and she had her computer break down fully and not the money to have it repaired. So that was not happening with her. And we were hanging out in one of the rooms at some point, Tanner and I, and we just started talking about making a podcast. And we just said, why don't we start one together? And that was in March 2022, 2021 or 2022?
February 22.
Yeah, because we're going into season. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, so we started talking about that, and we decided on stories instead of discussions because, we can get off track a lot when we talk about stuff.
Discussions are hard.
Yeah. So I put aside the idea of the other type of podcast to concentrate fully on baseline.
Now, this isn't a written question. Are you still interested in doing something like that?
Yes and no. Because I
mean, I would hate to squash dreams. Like, that's not what
No, I know what you mean. But, for those, no, but I'm pretty sure you do by now. I used to do radio as my full-time job. And now that I'm not, I kind of want to make the cut and not do anything related to that. And talk radio style podcast would be that. I need a break. So eventually, maybe someday I do that again on I wouldn't do political or economy or sports. I do something probably everyday stuff or a particular subject. But I'm not in a rush. I really enjoy what we're doing.
I think the idea of something like that still being kind of kicked around too.
Yeah.
I think as far as sticking with the podcast, I like the community we built and all the people that we've met and all the new people that have come forward and said, "Hey, I want to try voice acting," and the people that we've given, a platform, and that's been our goal all along. So that's been pretty cool.
It has.
Kind of what drives, I think, us to keep going.
Yeah. How about you, Mo?
Oh,
words, buddy.
Words, things.
Hard.
I don't know. It's fun. My whole thing is always it's fun. If it's not fun, I'm not gonna I'm a child in an adult body that's still somehow looks similar to a child.
You're a child with a beard.
I'm a child with a beard. If I shave, no one wants to see me without the beard. No, I keep doing the
Blame your
podcast because
fingers.
it's fun.
It is a lot of fun. Mo, you make us all laugh, and that's, I think.
Yeah. I think
it's
that's
a good
it too.
time.
It's like
Mo, you're right, and it's a good time. For sure.
I like making people laugh, and also I think making them cry. I like acting more than I thought I did.
Yeah.
So
all the emotions.
It's fun to try and pinpoint the characters and then figure out what they have to do and what they're gonna sound like. And it's interesting to see when you have different authors too, because then thinking through their you think through their head, so you have to figure out their thing, and which interests me because I'm a stoner and I'm like, let's see how many different Kevin Bacons I can connect through.
How about you, Evan? You can answer the question.
I was about to say, dang, I'm just gonna get skipped.
No.
This is conversational, my dude. Hop in.
So I liked acting. You guys gave me a shot with that before I actually joined the management team, so that was very fun. So giving back is pretty cool too, to help other people also get their kind of start here. I work more on the editing, writing side, so it's definitely we'll say fun when I'm not doing it, getting to see what everyone's, writing style is, kind of polish that up, get it pushed forward into a workable standard, because some people submit stuff in prose and we got to move it to script. And just kind of having a creative outlet is nice. And like Mo said, while it's fun, that's why I'm here. It's fun, and helping others have fun too.
Well, so you say you've got you work a lot with the writing side of things. You do a lot of editing. Now, you do write your own stories, right? You've got a couple of stories coming up here soon?
I believe I do. If I'm allowed to give more details about that, pardon the people getting murdered upstairs. My sound installation isn't installed in the new house yet. The victims are a little rowdy, but
I think we can tease it at this point. I think that's fine.
Okay, so
don't give away titles.
I'm not giving away titles. So we've got a couple. Believe 3 stories, 2 that have been sitting in the bank for a little bit, and we're gonna put those out in the main season. But there's also a little special story that have been written specifically for Baseline that we labored on for quite a while at Kyle's actual request. It's actually another reason why I love the podcast, is just the community between the actual community following and between all of management. We'll just shoot the breeze and shoot the shit all the time, and it was one of those nights where we're a little influenced and shooting the breeze. And you said something. You said something
about 20 minutes or so, and we're going to be a little bit more influenced than we are now.
Hell yeah, it's the best talk shows are drunk. But yeah, I can't remember if it was a story or something you talked about you liking, and I just said, fuck it, I can write something like that. And then you said, fuck it, do it. And then, well, you guys are going to enjoy that, I hope.
Yeah, I think it was based on the short little trip into the Yukon that we took with the Tales from an Old Man.
Yep, that was, I believe, it.
Yeah, it's kind of based on that whole idea.
Yeah, I hope you guys like Klondike bars because those are pretty delicious. The guys in the store are going to wish they had some. I don't know, because, I mean, who doesn't wish they didn't have some Klondike bars? Them shits are good, a little expensive. But I
I'd
hope
kill
you
you for a
guys.
Klondike bar.
That's funny you say that. That's a very funny thing. That's a funny thing that everyone's going to laugh about later.
Yep.
Possibly cry about. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll cry about it.
So, yeah.
All
Cry
the
about
emotions.
it.
Somebody's gonna cry.
All the emotions. Hopefully, I tried. That one was actually a little hard to write myself at the end there. I was like, damn, I'm a bastard.
Side note, if y'all didn't know, Mo has been doing our YouTube channel for us. So if you guys
yeah.
haven't checked that out, go check out that YouTube channel because it is
It's not
awesome.
bad. It's good. Because
Yes.
the YouTube channel also connects to just Google Podcasts. So
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
new another place to listen.
There you go.
Okay, so let's move on. We got a question from Brooks Bigley, just because we were on the sidetrack thing about we were talking about kind of what we were drinking here earlier. Brooks Bigley asks, "Do you produce stories while enjoying a beer or three? If so, is it easier or harder to do?"
Well,
I have an answer for that, but I know Tanner has an answer for that as well. He
Oh.
ran upstairs out of sight to probably get another beer, but most people know that I don't drink, but I told myself tonight, why not have a beer while we're doing this? I've taken 3 sips and my limbs
dear.
are like already.
Is that why
They-
you were making a face earlier?
yeah, I feel like, like when your head feels like cotton when
Yeah.
you're sick. Well, my
Mhm.
limbs feel like cotton right now.
Like,
So
what are those like the ragdoll cats?
yes,
Yeah, like a
I, f-
ragdoll.
I feel like very right now. And that's 2 sips. So you can imagine that no, I don't produce or record while drunk. I'm a giggly drunk. When I used to drink, I was a giggly drunk. So I just stopped. But I know that Tanner occasionally, I don't know if he produces while drinking, but I know that's
Yes.
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
Sometimes to record he will. But I know that before tonight he wanted to because for whatever reason he was nervous about it.
I think he just he relaxes a bit and
Yeah, that's fine.
oh, he's coming back.
Mo as a
He's
producer.
oh dear.
Oh, well, there you go. You had to get 3.
He has like 3
you don't-
cans of
weird.
beers.
If you don't know, we're recording and he's on
Running
video.
upstairs.
He just ran down the stairs carrying 3 of them. So
Backups. You got a double
No.
fist and get the
No.
one you're drinking.
Ham fisted straight up.
That's what duct tape's for.
Yeah, duct
Funny
tape.
enough,
Duct tape.
I don't
So
smoke
what
or
is-
drink if I have to record or like put an episode together or anything.
Yeah.
Just because we'll get done.
It won't get done. Pretty
It
much
just
like
won't. It won't happen. I'll just be like, no, I'm going to bed.
oh, that would be my case. Like I was editing lines before we started this and I'm like, oh, when we finish, I'll continue. Nope. I'm already so cottony right now, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
How about you, Tanner?
Yeah, well, so yes, I guess is the answer to that. I do. I'm a very reserved person if I don't.
You are.
Yeah, if I
Yes.
don't drink, I'm
You
not.
are. When
sure.
we've like hung out and you're like very sober, you're very you're still
Kinda
chill,
boring.
but you're not
Shy.
boring.
A little boring.
You're just you're more contemplative with your words than you are when you have had a bit of the dog.
We gotta
Yeah,
poke you
that's
with a
true.
stick to get you to be social at first, and then you get on the
That's
roll
true.
and you're all good.
Hey,
Wake
Yeah,
up.
well, I feel like
Hey.
the old creative side comes out because the old inhibitions are gone. They
Yeah.
don't stand in the way.
Yeah.
as long as you keep that balancing act good.
Well, I don't normally do voice recordings unless I've had probably 2 or 3 of them ahead of time. And that just it kind of helps like relax the old shoulders and like
The
breathe
nerves.
out. Yeah, because believe it or not, like as soon as you get in front of a microphone, you get nervous. It's kind of
Mhm.
like um kind of like public speaking. It's
Oh, God.
terrifying.
Oh, yes, it is. I
It's
hate
so
it.
scary, and it's weird because literally nobody's there. It's just you and some blankets and a microphone and a screen that probably is too damn bright. Yeah, it definitely helps. I don't think I've produced an episode yet completely sober.
Dun, dun, dun.
But to clarify, he's not drunk off his ass. Like,
No,
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
like Rowdy
it's
Crazy
that
drunk.
he does do a good job of balancing.
He can still function.
Yes, he's a very functioning
Don't say the next word.
person.
There.
I like the question that Sigcor is asking us.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Go ahead. That's a deep one. Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, he would love to
Who is
hear about.
who is Sigcorp?
He'd rather not
Pretty
us say
cool.
his real name.
He's a pretty cool
But
guy.
he's one of our voice actors, but he'd rather we don't use his real name.
You know who Sikor
fair
is.
enough.
Yeah, he's one of our voice actors.
Being facetious.
Yes. So
What's that?
Sigcor would like to hear about how episodes are put together, like the editing, sound selection programs that we use. So I guess that's a question for mostly Tanner, me, and Mo in this case.
Depends on how
What now?
far beginning, if you're talking about from selection to production or just
Yeah,
from the episodes.
let's start from selection.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go Evan, take over the selection part of it.
So, selection, you guys all submit stories, and we take all your stories up. We pay the Demon Piper, and he picks out the best ones for us. Actually, so we take all the stories in, and
and let it pick.
Yep, we let the
ChatGPT
hamster
stirred it up.
we let a hamster connected to a Ouija board tell us which ones to choose. But we read all the stories and we all kind of vote yes or no on them and why. We talk about it and we do a little dark magic as well to finish it off. We pick the very best ones. And then we go over the stories to make sure they're good and well producible because we aren't enforcing prose or script only submissions. So then me, Mo, and Julie have the great pleasure of turning a prose story into script. So a whole lot of trimming, cutting, and sound effecting with that. And then we all have a meeting afterwards on who's going to voice what. And then that gets passed on to the voice actors who record their parts, hopefully well. And then I'm going to pass the rest of the question on to our producing team because I don't do that.
So a lot of the editing and what Evan was saying about adding like the sound effect stuff, we mush it into like a script format. I guess not really script per se, but like a radio play format.
Yeah,
So it kind of describes
audio,
what's going on. Yeah, like an audio play format. That's kind
play.
of what we do. I mean, that's our thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff gets turned into either prompts for sound or emotions for voice actors. We'll send them out to them, and then when we get them back,
the moment to play begins.
Yeah, the moment of play begins.
Oh, yeah.
So we kind of play through them, listen to them, see if they're rocking and rolling. If they're not, we'll kick them back. That doesn't normally happen because the folks that we work with are already creative as it is. So that kind of helps. I personally, we as a team, we use Adobe Audition as our main mixing, mashing kind of program.
Occasionally, we'll use Audacity because there's certain functions of Audacity that are still very useful.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. And sound-wise, we use Artlist. Is that the name of the website?
Yeah, that's what we have a full-on license for them.
Yeah.
So there's no discrepancy.
Yeah.
There's no we don't run into copyright issues with that, which is super awesome. And shout out to artlist.io. If you guys want to sponsor us at all, that'd be super cool.
And occasionally Tanner will make his own sounds.
So do I.
Yeah. Some of those, like we'll record them on I'll record mine on my phone and just email it to myself, like slapping tables or shuffling cards or whatever.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like you can't find just in the
Everything.
libraries, and there's no poo-pooing on the libraries that exist as it is, but sometimes you want to make that just specific sound, that exact movement that you want, like typing on a keyboard, certain bunch of words. And I actually did that
Ooh.
for a story that we did in season 2 called Scary Corp. When Agent, hold on, who's the guy? Worker
469.
Yeah. So when 469, when he was typing in the password for Director Morgan's computer, I actually typed that in with my keyboard, did all the things for that, and then imported it into Audition, and then used it for the story. So that was cool. Being able to do that is pretty nifty.
Side note to that, Morgan is a bitch. Director Morgan, yeah. But
Morgan is a bitch.
Talking about all of that, us making our sounds, Doozer Pindan, sorry, is asking, what's the weirdest sound you've had to record yourselves? Don't
Quite
know.
possibly liplick.wav, and then we didn't even end up using that. I don't know if we want to get into that one.
No. Just hang on. We'll find a spot for it. There's I believe it or not, I have an episode for that specifically.
Yeah.
I think it's one of our bonus episodes here in season 3 that we might be able to use that for.
Ooh.
I don't know.
We might have talked about that before. I vaguely remember.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a weird one. That was a funny night.
Now, in terms of sound selection, I think he's referring to how we build like scenes with sound. Does that sound right? A lot of the work that Evan and Julie and Mo do to convert these prose stories into script form, like there's prompts for what's actually physically happening and how we can build that soundscape with sound effects. It's a hard thing to do because you got to find a certain amount of like gap in time, like between dialogue to say create a fucking horse falling off a cliff, which is sad and it's hard and it's difficult.
Not doing that.
Yeah. And it's weird and it hurts my heart on the inside, but I know that it went down for a good reason to push the plot along. Well, it wasn't for the wolves and coyotes and buzzards and all that stuff. But we're moving beyond that, the picked main horse. But creating something similar like that is fun because you have to envision what's actually happening in the story, right? Because not only are we using words, we're using sounds to make these things memorable or come into your brain with noises. But building that is, I love doing it. I'm gonna be honest. It's fucking great. It's hard, and I would never discourage anybody from trying to do it. But you have to have the mind to figure out what should be happening in that story, where it should be happening in your ears, like where around like the narration it's happening.
And it has to sound realistic as well. I think that's one of the things that's important when creating your own sounds. You want them, usually when I'll look for one and end up making one, it's because what I find is not realistic.
Yeah, for like bone crunching, actually frozen celery works really well.
Yeah.
If you freeze it and go, it sounds kind of like bones.
Child of bubble gum.
Yeah, well, like in exactly, the Child of Meat, where she's all like nasty and gross, and you just have the voice actor chew on bubblegum and get some nasty old mouse noises.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I think, if anything, that was probably one of the weirdest ones I've heard.
Yep, but it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bailey, my daughter, did a wonderful job in that episode as that character. She killed it, and Doozer is giving her props for that. So, shout out to Bailey. What's up, girl?
Queen Cam says, how excited are you all that Chewie is coming to Canada?
I didn't even know.
Are you excited?
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. But honestly, I had no idea and we have 3 cats in the house, so it should be fun.
Okay, there you
I'll
go.
look for stuff. So thank you, Queen Cam, and if you want to sponsor us,
Mm.
we'd love it.
Hey.
Baseline feed sponsored by Chewy.
Hell yeah, do it.
Brooks Bigley, sorry, asks, what amount of time do you dedicate each day to creating the podcast? Depends on the day for me, but I try to dedicate a little bit each day at least to, especially when we're like this close to starting the season. But let's say I've been a little bit lax over the last few months.
Well, we've been taking a break
Yeah.
Yeah.
between
Yeah,
our season 2 into season 3.
Summer times are normally our break-ish times to just kind of chill with family and
Yeah.
and enjoy the summer. So
Like on a normal week, I mean during the summer it's not so bad. Like I'll do probably 3 days a week maybe. I'll push 3 or 4 hours for like 3-ish days a week. So about 15 hours a week. But like during full production,
Every night.
I will probably I'll probably spend every night about 4 to 5 hours. So it's about a part-time job essentially, like 25 hours or so, just trying to make things sound right. It's a lot of effort, believe it or not.
I think preseason it's mostly Mo and Evan that have the most work to do in editing and making the stories the best they can be.
It's a lot more last season.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then like when production starts, they have less to do, but they're still super supportive and help us in other ways. So, so
I think it just depends on what stage of the
yeah.
Seasons, episodes we're at.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a question from Odd Pit Pet. I think she's one of our voice actors actually, and she was in no, hold on, what's the one with the zombie people?
Oh,
Spread of Love? Was it
Spread
that
of Love,
one?
yeah. She was one of the characters in Spread of Love, and she asks, if you could choose a story to be stuck in, what would it be?
ooh.
Oh dear.
Julia?
Oh boy, I don't know.
Yeah. Why don't you be the first to answer that?
Oh geez, I don't know though. I'm gonna pass on this and I'll think about it.
Well,
Because there's honestly so many good ones.
Well, we've gone through some of the. Let's pick from season 1 and 2.
I was stuck in one of those stories.
Yeah, Julie, go ahead.
I was saying technically I was in one of those stories. Like Liam.
Oh, yeah.
Liam is based on real stuff. Like the island is real, the doctor's house is real, the disinfection building is real. It's just the part of Liam that isn't. There's rumors around the island that Liam, which is not his real name, but there's rumors that he's around, but I personally have not encountered his ghost. But I lived and worked on this island for a whole week and then I quit because it creeped me out. So I'm good on being stuck in stories.
I basically already lived in it to win it without it being as extreme.
You worked in
that was very much just that was very much just Jersey convenience store. Like anything. Like I wasn't in a little bodega or anything like that, but I worked in a liquor store and we had the cash lotto machine.
Oh boy.
It was horrible.
I did
I
that
never
too.
really learned how to work it. It was horrible, and I had to have a manager come up. I'm like, "What am I doing? What?" They're like, "Just put in the numbers." I'm like, "I understand that, but like, it keeps asking me other questions, man. Can't I just go put the bottles on the shelves that you hired me for?"
The stalker. Don't
I'll go
make
put the
lotto numbers.
Yeah, like
I know what
you
I'm
hired me to
doing.
go put stuff on shelves, man. I'd rather be stuck in Irish Wish Foundation.
I was thinking that's
that's
the safest one for longevity if you don't want to die from random stuff.
I mean, that's the story that seemed the most like normal, just slice of life. Just happened to have a leprechaun.
I mean, leprechauns are pretty
Just
dope.
like everybody else in
King
there
the
was kind of
Punch.
just normal freaking people.
If I had
Um,
to pick one that I wasn't really part of, I'd want to say Harley Easton's Lullaby because I'd love to live in New Orleans. But
okay.
the one
Mm,
But
where
you would probably do pretty well in New Orleans, though.
yeah, well,
Kathleen
No,
has
not
something to say for
with
sure
my
about
French
that.
with my
Oh, yeah.
French accent, wouldn't be
Yeah.
very hard to make myself understood over there. But yeah,
no,
She
no,
says,
New
no.
Orleans
New Orleans is
wild.
wild.
wow.
I'd say an interesting one to be in, which I also did voice in, was Day Worker.
Yep.
I
I
was
Oh
gonna
kind
yeah.
say
of
New Worker, man. That would be so nuts.
Day
I
Worker,
would say the
yeah.
same. Yep.
You just
I
never know.
I kind of like the idea of that. It's like, as a kid, I was always like, well, I want to be this when I grow up. And then, like, the next day, well, I want to be this when I grow up. It's like you
Yep.
do all the different things. And, like,
Yep.
in that world, you can do all the different
You
things.
could
And,
You would
be
like,
never
that
get
when you
bored.
grow up.
as long as you don't go and have a tumor, it's not a tumor, and then break everything with the magic developer chip. Sorry, fictional society, get fucked.
You have exceeded
Damn.
your storage space.
Huh, what does this do? Well, the door's broke. Let me just fuck with more shit.
Welcome to New Jack City.
Yeah. I
I'm
would
just
say
kidding.
Day Worker as well because that's a fun one.
Shout out to Cheryl or
That was
Rose. She killed it.
Rose. Yep,
She
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 did.
killed it in that one. That
Oh
was
yeah.
great.
Yeah, she did a fine job. All right,
See.
what do we got next here? Let's go.
I might
Doozer again, just because it's fun. How do you Doozer Pindan? How do you prepare for an emotional scene, and how do you wind down afterwards?
Oh,
Well, since I just recently, within the last hour and a half or so, did one of these, I imagine something that really fucked me up emotionally. I don't mean to bring the tone down, but like in 2019, I dealt with something that was emotionally destructive to myself and most of my family. And if it's a situation like that, then you just reimagine yourself in that situation and you just let the tears go.
yeah.
And then what I do to wind down afterwards is do some jumping jacks, try to push out a fart, and then drink a beer, and then I'm good to go. Yeah. Yeah, just realize that life's not as hard as everybody else tells you that it is, and just relax. If there's like somebody's winded, I got a treadmill. I just go run for a little bit, get winded, and just actually do it.
I'm a very sensitive person and I cry at literally nothing. So, like Tanner, I just imagine either something that's happened to me or because I have general anxiety issues, something that could happen to me. And that just sometimes gets me going. And to wind down, usually it's like the series of slaps on the cheeks, just, get out of it. And that's usually enough for me. And if that's not enough, usually some upbeat music will do the job.
So you physically abuse yourself and then listen to Andy Grammer.
that's how you do it.
Is that how
Yep.
that works?
Hey, if it works, it works.
Hey
I
man,
think
I'm not here to
Do
yuck your yum, Julie, but
Doozer says Julie has an anxiety attack about not being able to have an anxiety attack. Yeah, pretty much. But you
Pretty
should
much.
see an anxious brain will go far sometimes into thinking what could happen. You don't want to know. It's scary sometimes. But yeah, crying wise, for me, it's very easy. It's stopping that's hard.
I've had one which was in, I guess, part of Day Worker where he's having the flashback to finagling a heart, slippy heart. For me,
gross.
that one, yeah. I was just a boy. But just kind of like Tanner says, think about some hard trauma from before. And there's also a certain like breathing kind of technique I've learned, which kind of just lets me do whatever. And I just kind of sink into that. I do what I gotta do. I put myself really in the mindset of the character. I try to anyway. And then afterwards, breathe again, box breathing. I like that. The 4 inhale, hold for 4, exhale for 4. And then watch some stupid YouTube videos or dumb memes. Like there's one of this absolute insane dude just screaming while lifting. That's hilarious. That always works. Rick the stick.
Yeah. Oof.
I don't know, Mo. You
Yeah.
have any? Have you done
I don't
any roles?
like.
Well,
I don't think I've done anything that's been released that's been like crying. In the past stuff that I've acted in,
Send it.
Well, how did you? Okay, so
well,
for you,
okay,
Mo,
if it's not,
specifically, for you, Mo,
yeah,
specifically, what about the character that you played in Lullaby? Because that was
what about
kind of a well, that was kind of a goofy character to get into because that was something that is not 100% natural for you. I mean, yes, it's a sneaky character trying to
okay,
be a goober,
so
but
in
like,
that case,
how do you get into like the accents and stuff?
so okay, a lot of well, okay. So Irish accents are easy just because like I literally have family members like growing up and I've just heard them. So it's like I can dip into it. Like that's relatively easy. And then it's just like um I guess being a person that's done silly voices for my entire life, I try to switch it up and move the muscles that do my vocal cords and stuff, and I try to switch it. If it's a way someone's behaving, I imitate my friends in a way. I have a lot of extroverted friends from high school and stuff, and I was much more of an extroverted person in high school myself. So it's like I kinda think that story specifically because that character was, kind of a shyster, and it's like he's a liar. He's just trying to get a girl. He's like, "Hey, yeah, let's go. No, don't worry, I got friends and stuff. I got a boat." And he's like, "Cool, right? Yeah." And then she just turns, yeah, go. I mean, everyone who's listening to this is probably listening. And then she just like turns the tide. Like that character was very much like I knew dudes, high school, college that are just like, hey, what's this, man? I'm gonna go get that chick's number. They go and do it, and it's just like they're kind of that way, and they're just kind of that.
So
Other characters, I'm like,
channel some of the people that you've known before and how they would exist in those situations.
kinda, yeah, and then twist it to how the author writes the scene. So it's like take the personality traits I know of people in real life, and then intersect that with how the character is written. Like, knowing like, especially when you read through the whole story, like, you know the end, so you know if the character has ulterior motives or if they're just a complete innocent so you play it that way, or in my head, that's what I do. That makes sense.
yeah,
Sure.
because I mean, I feel like emotional, you could be like angry, sad, happy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not like a normally happy person, you have to envision or um,
Yeah,
imitate
you put
somebody that
on
is happy. Yeah,
Well, you
yeah,
or
would
it's the
pretend. It's
mask
like a pretend
thing.
game. You just
yeah.
put you
Yes, it
pretend
is.
to
It's
be a
exactly what it
person that you're
is.
not.
We're playing make believe and all this
Yeah,
other stuff. So it's like,
yeah.
oh, we get to pretend to be happy. Like, oh man, that's so cool. Especially like with anything where I have to do my regular voice. That's tough.
It's hard.
It's
That is
hard.
difficult.
So I'm like,
Well, like
oh,
kind of
I don't.
when I ended up doing the hillside house,
Yeah.
kind of the same thing. Like that was
Mhm.
difficult. Boy, howdy. Because it's not like I really enjoy doing character voices.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, but like you tell stories with characters, but doing just your voice is probably, I think, the hardest because
Mhm.
being yourself in that booth is scary, and you just gotta like suck
Yeah.
it up, suck it up, and
I
just
find it
do the
weird
things,
to
you
talk.
know?
I find it weird to speak in my voice and not say things that I would say.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, these are not words I would use in this situation. This is not the way I would behave in this situation. So that it's like, I have to use my regular voice, but change my mindset. But specifically, I guess, being more, like in character work, like changing my mindset kind of makes me want to change my voice.
Yes.
But then I'm
No,
like, I can't
absolutely.
change my voice. I'm like,
Well, but you could though. because we have that. I mean, but we could, just because we have that creative freedom, and just the way that we interpret those stories that we get submitted to us.
And the thing is, we don't always have a description of the voice of the character. We have a description of the character usually, but not their voice.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes we do,
That's true.
sometimes we don't. So it gives you the latitude to make it your own.
I like it when there's not all the time. I like it sometimes when there's no description, because then it's like I could just make up a backstory. This would be fun. Like, this dude's from like Virginia.
Virginia.
When he was born in LA. Like, what?
Virginia.
If you say Virginia again, I'm gonna sing Country Roads.
Take me home,
Mountain
Mama.
Is where I belong.
Damn.
West Virginia.
Mountain Mama.
Oh boy.
Take me home,
country roads.
That was a beautiful choir.
Well,
You're
it's
That
delayed
night,
because
big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
that's a fun song.
What
do we got next?
Mama,
What's our next one we got?
Next one.
Jersey doesn't have a song.
Hey, what about the second one from TJ?
Well, we did the second one.
No, the third one. Sorry.
Third one. If no one had from TJ Hodder, if no one has asked, do you have advice for setting up with an affordable recording rig to start? Probably. I think he's talking about voice acting and recording lines for a certain story or voiceover.
This one.
Yeah, absolutely.
My setup is literally $35, so I think I got you with this one. I found this neat little microphone off Amazon. I don't know if we can put that in the show notes, but it's a little condenser mic to USB.
We're not sponsored.
But we can be. Probably not.
Would be. You're right.
That would be pretty cool.
We should get
affiliate marketing.
But you just look for a decent microphone up there. I mean, it's not perfect because it's USB connection, but I found one with good reviews. It even comes with a little stand pop filter. You just go in the closet and you just surround yourself with like clothes, like you hang up clothes all around to kind of make a sort of box. And then there you go. That's my rig, and it was free except for the microphone of shit I already had. So just find a nice bass microphone, a little secluded spot. You can kind of line or pseudo line all the walls with clothes or fabric. If you have a bunch of heavy moving blankets or something like that, those really work well. And
even like the comforter from your bed, you just build like a blanket fort, basically.
That's what I did. I do recommend you like get some way to suspend it above your head, because for season 1 I had it draped over my head and I was about to die of heat exhaustion recording, so that's not cool.
You don't want out a way to fix that.
And it also doesn't let you have good posture for voice. Not that my voice is good enough anyway, but that's beside the point.
But we're working on that. You're working on that. We're getting better.
Yeah, but for those of you with nice voices, don't suffocate yourself.
Yeah, I honestly had that issue recently before I bought my little portable booth. I would hide under like a blanket.
Oh, we've seen the pictures.
Well, yeah, you've seen it was awful.
What channel was that? That was in our voice booth channel. We sent pictures of our little setups, and Julie's was just hot. It was like a laptop with like a blanket.
That's what I did too.
It was wonderful.
And after that, I'm like, nope. So I bought a little portable booth they're like $50 on Amazon. Like they come with little insulation foam.
Oh shit! I'm gonna need you to send me that.
Sure. And so like it was on sale when I got it, so even better. I already had a Blue Yeti mic, which was pretty good with a pop filter, but it wasn't enough to muffle the sound, and the blanket was killing me. So now with that booth, the sound is so much better, and I don't die of heat stroke.
Well, a lot of the sound thing is breaking up the sound that bounces off the walls, because it's not just sound that you're sending to it; it's sound that bounces around in your room. off the walls, like behind you and stuff. So you gotta.
A big deal is behind the microphone, not necessarily behind you in
Yes.
person.
Yeah.
The
Well, I
microphone.
mean, both are very important. Above you
Yes.
is not a big deal. Below you is not a big deal. But as long as you know the like pickup pattern of what your microphone is, a lot of them are cardioid, especially if you use the condenser microphones. It's like a little bit to the
Oh, yeah, I'd
sides
have
and
to
like
be in a
directly in
different
front.
place.
Because I had to use actually my baby blanket that my mom kept for yeah, for my booth that I have. I don't use it. I mean, I'm not using it now. Obviously, I'm at my production computer. But just having things to like break up the noises that flow around the room
And it's
is good.
surprising how much a microphone can catch sounds
Yeah.
that you're not aware of.
Somebody talking like 3 rooms away, your
Yep.
or your roommate's getting murdered upstairs. You know, the
Or
usual.
or a simple fart, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that adds to the experience. That adds to the recording.
So we got
Okay.
another question from Queen Cam.
Yep.
It is, how does everyone stay or get motivated to write, create, or edit when it's the last thing that you want to do? I know this isn't most of y'all's job.
None of us's job, actually.
Yeah, we
Used
don't
to
get
be mine.
we
Used to
don't
be
get
mine.
paid for this.
No.
I know exactly what
So
to say now.
so how do we get motivated to write, create, and edit?
Who wants to go?
I know recently, I've been messing with Chat GPT, and it's
Mm.
actually been making my brain fire off more because I'm like, "You are so bad!" And I'm like, "I have to fix
I
so
can do
much of
that
what you
better.
fucking wrote down." Well, yeah, I'm like, "Oh, I get like, oh, interesting." But it's like, it's cool. Yeah, that's it, mainly. It's like, find new tech helped me.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
That's a
I don't know
Nike
why it made me think
commercial.
of that because somebody said I could do it better. So
It's a Nike
awesome.
commercial.
Yeah,
Jesus,
well,
woman.
sorry.
We can't put
Hey,
that out. Come on.
cut it.
Fix it in post.
So,
So what I like to do if it's the last thing that I want to do, what I do is what it kind of goes back to the first part of the production thing is I like to take all the voice actor parts and cut them up into the order that they should be for a story, and I export them into our Google Docs, and I just listen to them on repeat for probably 2 or 3 days while I'm at work because we're allowed to have earbuds. So I just listen to it and just listen and listen and listen and listen and
Perfect.
try to understand how those characters would interact and what kind of sound effects they would have for the situations that they're in. So a lot of it is just banging my face into drywall. Yeah,
I get that. I
not a lot of
create
not a lot of inspiration, just banging my face into a wall,
yeah.
and it helps.
Uh
Believe it or not, it makes me happy. Actually,
Good. Well, you found your technique. That works for you. Keep doing it, you know?
yeah. Thanks for encouraging me to bang my face into a wall, Julie.
Yeah. Oh,
Just keep going.
just put your hand up there first. You'll be fine.
Nope, just bare
Um,
face, no condom. Just go.
well, in my case, the editing part or the recording lines part, for me, it's always the team and the podcast come first and not my lack of motivation. Like, I don't want the team to be behind. I want us to produce something good. So that's how I kick my own ass. But creatively, as a writer, I've been on a block for about, I want to say 5 months, and I've barely started writing again. Uh, and I've realized that trying to force writing, it's not, it doesn't happen. For me, it doesn't work. Like just trying to, some people say sit down and write, it doesn't work for me. Like that part of the creativity does not work. So, yeah.
That like we'll go into the like writing corner that we have on our Discord. You should join up if you haven't already. We have a writing corner so that we can hop into voice chat or text chat and just kind of bounce ideas off each other.
Yep.
And I think a lot of that helps out because we got some very weirdly, oddly creative people who are willing to throw ideas back and forth.
Yeah, and
And
it
that can
has
help.
helped because I am writing again slowly, very slowly. I like this question from Odd Pitpat that
Okay.
says, "What was a hurdle you didn't expect when working on the pod?"
Oh boy. A hurdle. I'm not very good at running, so that is definitely a hurdle. 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 That's a weird word anyway. I think being pushy with voice actors.
Mm.
I
It's not
am
fun, isn't it?
no, I am such a terribly agreeable person in such a way that is destructive. But just getting on people on getting their lines done or um getting them involved, I think, because we like to have. I mean, we like to have a relaxed feel to our podcast with the people that we're involved with. But just being Daddy Tanner is hard. Yeah.
Hey, Daddy.
Okay. Well, that's
That's just creepy now, isn't it?
my
That's-
wife is
that's
right here.
recorded.
She's in the channel. She's talking. Don't call me Daddy.
Daddy.
Not in front of us.
It's okay if Evan calls me Daddy. He does it all the time.
Hey.
But like having that being stern with folks that are supposed to be involved, that's hard.
It's
Keeping
like
people
playing.
on track. Go ahead.
What?
Keeping
What?
people on track.
Oh,
Okay, that's not what I heard.
I heard you say like keeping them on crack. Like how do
So
we
did
provide
I.
them with the drugs?
Oh
How
God.
much? I would like to buy this much.
Hello there,
How much
Daddy.
crack does this buy?
I want to buy a vehicle. I would say
No.
a
And
hurdle. And no, a hurdle for me was how much work a podcast is. It's surprising. At least a story podcast. I don't know about talk radio podcasts. In that case, it's probably a lot of research, but
Mm-hmm. That's from what
producing
I've heard.
stories is a lot of work. I don't mind doing it, but it's a lot of work, a lot more than I expected.
I did not expect to put 25 plus hours a week into doing something that is like not even an hour like every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Go
I
ahead.
think those hurdles though stretch you and make you better. So I mean, definitely a good thing, I would say.
Yeah.
Stretch us?
Well, make you grow you.
Baby, you stretch me.
Don't be dirty.
Hey, it is after 9 though. But
It is
It is
10,
after
12.
9, but this
It
is
is
not for that channel.
I was about to say probably not.
We're not in the correct channel for that. So,
Piggy Hill is not here.
but I mean, it makes you a better person. It makes you better than you were before because you learn new stuff. You learn how to, you know, overcome things that you didn't realize was an obstacle. Yeah, no, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean,
Producer says Julia's the mum of the admins, clearly.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, geez.
So here's another question from Queen Cam. What is your favorite genre to write or create about? I know straightforward horror isn't really the primary focus here. Kind of always feels like Black Mirror-esque to me, but I could be interpreting that wrong. We want to keep our options open. We don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into a certain genre. I think like we said for fucking ever ago, we want to encourage people to be creative. We want to encourage people to write. I love comedy. I think it's great, and the comedy stories are awesome.
I just want to add to your comedy thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to write comedy. I'm good at banter, like the dialogue and everything, but I
Yeah,
don't have
banter's
the
fun.
ideas and the jokes. So that's something, to do collaboratively.
something we should like
do
collaborate
together.
on.
I can't word.
Nah.
Words are hard,
Late
man.
for you. It's like night.
I think my personal favorite is just because I'm a sucker for detective shows, and I love how twisty they are. I know we recently, actually yesterday, we watched uh the
Knives Out.
Knives Out stories with Daniel Craig, and that dude's great. He's awesome, man.
I love that guy.
He's a
Uh,
very versatile character, but like things like
Sorry, KFC.
the KFC, but like having the twisty stuff, the goofy stuff, the confusing stories, I think those are fun, just so that it becomes more interactive almost with the audience, making the audience think about what the fuck is actually going on in the stories. I think is probably the coolest genre for me.
Mm-hmm.
Psychological.
Yeah, the psychological ones. Those are cool because I really like the
Psychological. I think you're talking about maybe like a psychological thriller.
yeah,
It wouldn't be
psychological thriller.
necessarily like something horror.
Shutter Island.
Yeah, like oh fuck, Shutter
Yeah.
Island was fucking nuts.
Oh,
And
read the book.
Well,
It's even more nuts.
I haven't read it yet because I can't
I
read.
read it.
But
Understandable. I struggle with it too.
it's a hard thing.
It is.
Like Shutter Island stuff, like Fight Club stuff. I know we're not supposed to talk about it, but like that kind of thing
That one
is
was
just
fucky.
well. And then there's a story with Michael Douglas. It's called The Game.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Movie was wonderful. I watched that in the theaters.
Dude, just so fucking good. I would love to have more stories like that.
Yeah.
Just because, like,
reminded me that you just lost the game.
I know I did.
Okay.
Because
and
I
so
said
did
Michael
everyone
Douglas,
else
because I lost
listening
the
to
game.
this.
Well,
So did everyone else.
we'll have a good like crime thriller story coming up this season. I don't want to say any more because it's such a good story.
We have
But
we have at least one. I don't know what we plan to do with the other one that we have that was written for us. It's I think it's find the girl.
What?
The one with the it's find the girl.
It's in the other folder.
Yeah, it's in the other folder. Yeah. Anyway,
because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm wondering too. I'm like, huh?
the one that Arthur sent us.
Oh wait.
Oh, see, I haven't seen that one. I think I was
God, you guys are
away.
behind.
Yeah.
Lord.
Oh no.
Oh,
Okay.
he wasn't there half the
Moving on.
summer, poor kid.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm
That's
pretty
okay.
sure I was gone away during that time.
That's fine. Well, yeah. I've always loved watching them. I love acting-ish them if I get to. Those are cool.
Yeah.
Does E95 count as that slightly or no?
E95 is definitely
A little
one of
bit.
those. Oh yeah.
Put
fuck
a
yeah.
little bit in that one.
Well, yeah, it is because
yeah, that's all you can say. You can't say nothing about it.
Because
Because it is.
because it fucking is, bud.
Thanks, Arthur. You helped me with that one, make that one way better.
Since we're not talking about anything else.
Oh yeah, we should probably focusing back on the task at hand.
Where do you
3-hour episode.
So this one is from Tori Miller, who had a ginormous hand in writing the story called Scary Corp, one of my favorites. I had a fun time acting that one.
Absolutely, that one was great. My favorite to edit too, because I didn't hardly have to touch it.
Yeah, you didn't have to monkey with it.
I did a little bit, as is required, but not much.
So the question is, where do you see the show going in 1, 3, and 5 years? Where do you see the show going in 1 to 3 to 5 years? So, yeah, to the moon, obviously. In 1 years, I would see it going into a point where we expand on a story that will be happening in season 3 to expand on it and make it much more palpable and much more like playing a video game with your ears. So there's another genre that's been coming out and it's really popular lately. It's called the lit RPG. Yeah, I think Arthur brought it up in our interview before, the literary RPG. So you experience something that's happening in a fantasy world. Yeah, so we're building on the world that he's created with that, and we're gonna create something that encourages listeners to come back for an expanded story, a bigger story, something that will tie all of the everything that we're doing together. And also, we're gonna commit considerably more amount of time to
Oh yeah.
producing and making something that is exciting to come back to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in 1 year?
I would say probably closer to 3
Yeah.
or
It's
2.
kind of
It's like 2 or
fluid.
3-ish.
I think you kind of got to
Yeah.
start broad and then it narrows down as you get to each place because you don't really know what you're gonna run into when you get there. I'd say probably just to keep the podcast rolling in its original purpose, get more people started
Mm-hmm.
in audio drama, be it writing
Yeah,
or
'cause I
acting
think
or producing.
yeah, 'cause I think we're gonna continue the idea of bringing new writers in as like an anthology kind of style stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
bring like a serial um, story into our main feed so that folks have something to come back for.
Yeah, because it's like candy. If you come back, you'll get more.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Piece of
piece of
candy.
candy.
And in 5 years, I want to. I wouldn't know what to add to everything you just said. So
What
Oh,
do you
tell me
think
ab
we would do you think we would do this full-time job? Full-time careers? 5 years? Or still part-time doing
um,
regular life outside? Or, full-time podcast?
I
I
think that'd
would
be
like.
pretty
Mhm.
sick nasty, but that's a pretty difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, would we think that's 5 years? Could we do that? What do you think?
Well, I think
15 years?
I think we could do it 5 years.
I would find it interesting
Uh,
if we after season 3 if something akin to No Sleep would happen where it's just like after season 3 a whole lot of people start listening to it and then it's like, "Hey," and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden 15 years later in season 20.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of on the track to do that though, just from the
I hope so.
way that we've done it.
Super cool.
I think
I'd
that's
like
Absolutely.
to be a
And then
writer
get
full
a whole
time,
lot
and if
more new
that's part of
people.
it,
I'd love to
yeah.
do that
I think it could
too.
be part of
yeah.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not to toot the old horn, but like we could probably do
Yeah.
it.
I think we
So
definitely have the potential.
absolutely.
I think it's something
Okay.
that if we, make goals, and I think it's maybe a discussion that we haven't, officially had to say, hey, this is where we want to be. But you make those goals and you set smaller goals to reach the big goals, and I think it's absolutely possible. Maybe everybody will just be working, on the podcast full time. That'd be cool.
I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Be cool.
That'd be pretty sick nasty.
Yep.
Moving on, we got a again from Doozer Pindan, Daniel Barton from the UK because he's fucking weird. What is your most and least favorite voice roles that you've done so far, and why?
Hmm.
Evan, go.
Mine.
Yep.
So, my least favorite role, that's rather easy. It was probably one of my first ones that I didn't do very well. That was the way back from season 1 being the narrator for uh the worst of the worst because I didn't know quite what I was doing my setup. I was getting heat exhaustion doing that setup, so that didn't help. I just don't think I did very well on that. I didn't enjoy that one. My favorite one.
Now you're not saying that because it wasn't a fun story.
Oh, it was a.
It was a matter of like you were getting into the whole recording and
Oh yeah.
the,
No,
yeah.
it was a good story. It's just I trying to all the like learning pains of it and whatnot and suffocation, no breathing. That
Don't
wasn't
give a fuck
very.
if you cut my all. You know.
If I die while I'm reading. No. My favorite one is probably, let's see, which ones did I do from the upcoming season and whatnot? Okay, so probably one of the ones in season 2, I'd say Day Worker was fun. The Lousy Void itself, that one was pretty fun.
I think you did a fine job with the Lousy Void.
I just tried to be discount Peter Lewis, and it was fun.
Discount
Yeah,
Peter Lewis.
I was discount Peter Lewis. I gave actually gave Tanner quite a few because he loves listening to my voice recordings go on and forever.
For 45
And-
minutes for a 15-minute story. Yeah.
Yep. So that one's fun. Oh, Not Your
here
Average
it is.
Drone.
Not Your Average Drone was your favorite story to do?
That one was one of my fun ones. Just
it's a
the
weird
opposite
character.
of who I am too.
Yeah.
Yo, red toy at your service, dude. That one was just weird. It was fun. But yeah, any one of those three, I'd say, were probably my favorite ones to do. Being just myself in full Southern drawl was pretty fun, and in it to win it. That one was pretty good.
I love
You
that.
just saw,
It's counting.
Southerner. All right, Evan, you're doing that one. Oh,
You
okay.
listen real hard. He counts through a good portion of the damn episode.
I do. I was committed.
So, Julie, what's your most and least favorite roles that you've done so far, and why?
I really enjoyed doing Widow's Walk, opposite TJ, because it was more into like feelings of fear and excitement for the character, and then just fear itself. So that was fun. I really liked because it was a creepy, weird ass story. Life's a park and then you die. I played you.
Yeah, I think
That
you did
was
it. I think you killed it in that one. That not to
Right.
discount anything you've ever done before, but like I think that was one of the ones that you absolutely nailed. Like you just took a hold of that character and you just fucking owned it.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun doing it. It was so weird, but a lot of the stories I've realized that sometimes, at least when we're picking them, that I'm like, I don't want us to do that story. But most of the time when I say that, it's because I don't get the story on the spot. And Life's a Park and Then You Die, when I read it the first time, I was like, what the crap? And then I read it properly again, and then we cast me as you. I'm like, okay, I have to get the story. And finally I got what was the point behind the story. And I'm like, oh, this is so good. I want to do this. So I wanted to give it my all. I really enjoyed doing with the computer voice for Scary Corp.
Yep.
Worker 469.
Yeah, Scary
But
Corp was pretty fun.
But the thing is, that voice for me back then was my usual work. Well, almost my usual work voice. And I think the one I liked the least was first season was Cargo and Liam, and this second season Liam. Even though they're my stories, I don't feel like I gave them my all. So I would say those. And Doozer says Julie's previous job was being a murderous robot. Yes, I was.
Yeah, you were.
Pretty much.
I think my favorite voice role. Oh boy. It's kind of a tie between when we did the Edgar Allan Poe story, The Telltale Heart.
Yeah.
And it was a tie between that and it's like a three-way tie between that and Scary Corp and Not Your Average Drone. I think those were fun because I got to do fun accents with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't obviously have a British accent. It's not my thing. That's not what I do. But I got a super awesome compliment from Doozer Pindan, who is actually from the UK. He said I did it pretty all right. I think those were his specific words. Did a pretty all right job with that.
Compliment at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, someone who's actually from
Pretty
there
already.
was like,
Yeah.
that was pretty. It was believable.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was acceptable. There you go. Those are the words. It was acceptable.
There you go. Yeah.
Because that was a play on the Stanley Parable
Mhm.
game thing. Whatever. Those are probably my favorite. I don't think I have a least favorite, mostly because I like voice acting in general. It's fun telling stories, becoming characters. If I had to put a least favorite thing into it, ooh, um, yeah, I don't have a least favorite. They're all fucking fun. I'm not gonna do a least favorite.
That's
Cheater?
funny.
Nah, yeah,
Mhm.
they're all fun. They're all fun.
Yeah.
Since we've got that, did we miss anyone? Julia,
I
you've
don't.
done a couple of them, haven't you?
I've done.
Did we ask my?
Oh, done a few.
You've done a few. You did the Ecdy's Mirror. You did. You were one of the friends in Liam. You
Yep.
did. What
Oh,
else did you
the
do?
woman that was missing
And
half her face and bait.
Yeah, Bait. That was a
Mhm.
weird one. Yeah.
yeah,
That
that
one
was a
was
weird one.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what a
that was
wacky
a weird
story.
one.
I thought that
Yeah.
was pretty fucking neat.
Yeah. That one was the most interesting to do, I think. But I don't think I really have like a least favorite one. I don't know what I would pick as my favorites. The Liam story was fun to do. I don't know. I feel like I did. I think all of them. I think I do about the same on all of them. So I don't think and I haven't really done enough to say, hey, I think I did better at this one than others, maybe. But it's still a learning curve. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and that's the fun of it
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
newer people to this. Like you still
Yeah.
have a learning curve, but you want to do it. So
Yeah. I do think it's interesting that, I mean, you go back and listen to certain episodes and you're like, oh, and when you hear all the different parts together, sometimes it makes more sense or less sense. I mean, most time more sense. And you kind of realize, oh, I should have done it this way, or I should have done it that way. So it does make me want to do more just because I understand certain stories more after I hear them all together. But yeah, it's fun. It's a good time.
yeah.
Favorite and least favorite Mo.
Come on, Mosef.
Okay. No, okay. No, I think it's pretty easy. I think the only thing I would have for least favorite would just be like the first two characters, just the guard, and then just because I was like really crappy recording, I think, and I was like in a cardboard box record. uh, that and the sheriff. I think those are least favorite. Like, but it's like kind of like
Really,
Tanner.
you
It's
did
like I
such a
don't.
good job though. You fucking
I
killed
know,
it
but
as the
it's like
sheriff though.
I can pick out the little things that I don't like about that role, and I'm like, if I have to pick a least favorite, I'm like, those are my two least favorite. But I'm just like, I think they're all pretty. I think they're all pretty decent, and like I like doing them. I like the thief the most
Yeah,
of the
the thief
time.
was good. Good that
I
the
seem to
thief
do
has to be
Samuel
one
the
of my.
thief all the time. Like
That
now I
dude
just
is.
what the
He's
hell's
probably one of
going
my
on here? Man,
favorites.
what are you doing? This is crazy, man. We gotta get out of here. This is nuts. I think I did this thief for when I tried out for Raphael for another show. Come on, Leo, what the heck are you talking about, man? I'm doing Mikey. Like I think it'll work a little bit. Didn't get picked. Oh well. What? They're all fun.
TJ says, "Do you have any advice on getting into a character for particular dark or weird readings? We don't have a lot of dark or weird readings yet, but I think in season 3 we
We got a
will.
few. We got a
Fair portion, I
few
think.
between the
Have
anthology
I?
stories and the one special, thing. With that, we
Yeah,
have quite
yeah.
a few.
I keep saying like third season is going to be
It's different.
the darker of the seasons.
I think we're
Hell
gonna.
yeah, it
I think we're
is.
gonna have to
So it
do. We're gonna have to do like a
disclaimer.
yeah, disclaimer. There you go. We're gonna have to do a
I think we're gonna
disclaimer
have to
before
have a
the
disclaimer
episodes.
for the third season.
I
Adult
think
content.
well
Listener
the
advice.
The second season I did that the lady who had her face ripped off, and I would say that was like a weird weird part, but you kind of put yourself in that position. Like, what would you feel like if you had that done to you? I mean, you would be in pain, you would, not be able to talk. So you just kind of visualize how that would feel. And I think that kind of helps put you into that mindset of like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the stutters are not a bad thing and stuff like that.
Weird, you just kind of lean into the weirdness of the character. Dark, breathe in, think murder, breathe out.
Murder.
That's pretty
Think of
simple. I also use that to get across, the crowded high school when I was in high school and everyone's just clumping up in the hallways, and I look like I'm gonna kill somebody, and everyone just kind of moves out of the way. So that was pretty effective. Also, having a full size pistol. No, I'm kidding.
Found lighting helps. Actually, like I put
Ooh.
because I have like what are they? The full spectrum like Wi-Fi kind of light thingies. So I can change the lights in my room, right? And I have one in the booth. I found like the lighting really helps. Like if it's a darker character or if I have to be in a mood to be, if you do angry stuff or just weirdness, like lighting and music beforehand.
Yeah, that's true
Finding
for me
finding
too.
an artist. Yeah.
Yep.
Find an artist that has a sound or a song that makes you feel somewhat similar to how you would think the character would be.
That's
Yeah.
good. While like
Yep.
reading the
Yeah.
script to listen to that. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Well, like I definitely like when reading the upcoming thing, I've been watching a lot of like how do I say this without giving anything away? Certain actors in certain parts that I feel did very well portrayals of a similar character.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. So I've been
Inspiration.
like watching yeah, like getting to that and then reading a lot of like how they did it and stuff. Especially since like we do audio, so it's like you don't have I don't have my face to make all the stupid faces I do when I say things because like I can say something pretty monotone, but then like my face will clearly convey that I'm joking, but you don't get that with
Yeah.
audio. So you have to go up and down. Yeah. So it's fun to watch the ones that are really good at it and then steal.
In in my case, I don't think have I ever had dark characters? Not really. I've had emotional characters, but dark ones or weird ones.
I could have sworn you did.
Like in Liam, it was the haunting Hillside House. Did I do a
Hillside
voice
House,
on?
kinda. Yeah, you were.
I was the ghost.
Yeah, you were the first ghost.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were Olivia.
Yeah, but you haven't played like an octopus or something.
That's a weird
It's
one.
like
All right,
I'm gonna
Something to
somebody
play for
write a
sure.
story where we have
I'm gonna
talking
stick to your
octopi
face.
for
Yeah.
for season 4. You will automatically get accepted. I don't care how shit it is. We'll fix
And
it. Do
and
it.
I will be playing it.
And Julie will be playing one of the octopi at
Yeah.
least.
The pie.
But I remember like one thing, there's certain stories, and I'm not gonna say who because I don't want to put anyone on the spot, that after reading that I've told the others in the team, like, whoever we cast in this, I do not want to be cast in this
Oh
story.
yeah. Yeah.
Not because it's not good. It's just it hits too close to home and I don't feel comfortable. And I say this and I say this because I also want the voice actors that are listening right now that if that ever happens, that we cast you in something you're uncomfortable, we want to know that.
I like to do like a half whisper kind of thing and lower my voice. That's pretty much about it.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't played any scary boys yet. Yeah, I've played a lot of the lighthearted characters, but I think here soon I'll be able to
I think you do play.
play something a little bit more serious in the
I
upcoming
think with the
stories.
thing in the other folder. might be a.
Thing in the
I
other
think
folder.
that
What
is
is
a
that
bit-
one?
Okay. Anyway,
just crying. That's
Good old cry. Get a good old cry
I don't
out.
really do scary stuff yet. Like it's not like creepy things.
I'm gonna write you the scariest shit ever.
Yeah, I think watching movies and watching how other professional actors do it, I think is probably the best way to do it. Just imitation. I know that sounds really lame and plain, but
no, but
that's
imitation
what I
is
do.
the highest form of flattery. So
that's how I did.
If I can flatter Daniel Craig, or Daniel Craig did a good job in the Knives Out thing. I mean, that was fucking brilliant.
I want to be Jamie Lee Curtis then. If we're talking about that movie, I love Jamie Lee Curtis in that movie. I wish we'd seen her punch Don Johnson after she burned the bottom of that letter to see that what he'd done.
Oh no, fuck her.
Oh yeah.
I don't really care for her very much.
Okay, then excuse me.
Stop it. Well, she didn't really have a big part in that story anyway.
No.
Okay.
She had a much bigger role in Freaky Friday.
That was fun.
It was good. the one with Lindsay Lohan.
Yep.
That was weird. It was weird.
Okay. We're gonna rein
Mark
this
Harmon's in that?
Of course, he's the fiance.
He's old.
He's Gibbs.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, we've gotten through the questions.
We got 4 left.
Well, do we want to do them? Do we want to do them?
We can. I mean, if we want to have a look.
Might as well.
All right, so we'll just go down the line. This first one is from Brooks. How do you conceptualize the audio environment for a story using just the author's words? Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of goes with the story. It kind of goes with the idea of listening to the voice actors on repeat for 16 hours a day. It's like what would be happening? Yeah, exactly. Place like the environment, whether it's outside or inside, or what's happening around them. Like what setting are they in? Whether it's like inside a building with like AC noise, or
walking sounds, chewing sounds.
Yeah, underground, or outside at a roller coaster, or
almost like complete visualization of the environment, so that I don't know if there's another way to explain it.
Yeah, you try and listen to because a lot of the conceptualization for production happens after the voice actors endure the nightmare that is turning text into audio, which I completely respect, and that's crazy that we can even do that. But turning that into a story, and like, where is this character? What is the character doing? Like, what's happening around them? Or like, what time of day is it? That's probably the best. That's probably the biggest deal that we deal with. I like to drink beer when we do it. That's how I do it, is drink beers and just listen to the story and try to imagine it like as if a movie was playing in my brain.
That's how I write. So producing that way makes sense too. Yep.
Cool.
Do we have any fun questions?
What? Another one from the biggest of Brooks. What is the funniest moment the podcast has had together? Early, any of the moments? Probably a lot of them are pretty funny.
Yeah. I don't
pick a funny moment, and it's probably that one too.
I think we have when we have our.
We're fucking hilarious over here, bud.
Damn straight, dudes.
When we have meetings, they end up going way over because we just sit there and go off topic and laugh half the time. So 90% of the time. So
I apologize for that.
Mostly
don't, and you should.
Mostly because Mo and I are alpha rockers and destroying accents about characters and.
Yeah, but if we didn't have fun, I wouldn't be here. Yeah, because if it's not fun,
blowing our fucking horns. Yeah.
If it's not fun, is it worth doing?
Nope.
Nope.
No, I'm too old for that shit.
Yep.
Apolitic.wab was pretty funny.
I still have it.
I know. I'm
Yeah,
glad. You better.
I'm putting it in, baby.
What's something that surprised you? I'm assuming about the podcast. That one's from Odd Pit Pat, a little abstract.
I was about to say when my ex was pregnant, I'm like, that was a pretty surprising moment.
Oh, for change of the
Okay.
podcast.
No.
No, brother. That surprised me when she got pregnant too.
Yeah.
I was upset for you when people actually enjoyed the show. That's something that surprised me.
Well, we never did
Well, I guess
unless we
when
were
people
told.
really when people actually enjoyed the Tales from an Old Man,
Yeah.
I was not ready for
Okay.
that. I mean, my dad, he's an excellent storyteller. He's an excellent story reader. I mean, I know he's been good. I would listen to him telling us stories for a long time, but having him on the show, I think, is probably the most surprising part for me, that he's been supportive of it and he wants to be part of it.
That's cool.
Right?
Super cool.
It's so surprising.
Ah.
And just hold on to your titties, because here comes season 2 of Tales from an Old Man.
Dun, dun, dun.
Da-da-da-da.
The original question is what's something that surprised you? So if we want to keep going down the line
Yeah,
or not.
Julia.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I have an answer right now.
Nothing surprises me. I'm a brick wall. Move
Love
on.
it.
I
Hey,
I
Julie,
really
your
don't, like,
turn.
I just take everything in stride, so I don't know if things really surprise me. I just kind of, because I don't really know what to expect to begin with. So, and I never really knew what this would turn out as or how well it would turn out. So I just kind of, I don't know, go with the flow.
Well, I think it gets back to the previous question where I said the amount of work surprised me, but I think if we go in another way, like the way this has allowed us as the management team, or us as in like the Discord, the podcast people, how close we can be to people we've never met through stories. I really like that.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Evan, you go.
Mo?
I don't want to go yet.
It's turn.
What has surprised me? I don't know, just kind of seeing the podcast grow from season 1. I jumped in partway through that to now it's quite large, and it was just kind of surprising to see that growth. And that you guys really like it, kind of like what Kyle said.
I think what's honestly surprised me is the people that want to work with us, especially knowing what's coming up in the new season, and who some people I've reached out to, and then they've been like, "Oh yeah, let's do so." I'm like, "Cool, yeah." And then they're totally down. It's like we have new voices, I think, because of that. So it's like, sweet. It's like we've made enough of an impact with enough of an audience that people are like, "Oh yeah, definitely want to work with these." We've had new people come to like the Discord out of nowhere, I think. Just kind of like not like recommended by anybody else or friends. They've like found it off of like what YouTube or in general. They found it off of something and they've been like, "I found this," and then we came here. Cool.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's exciting.
Yeah.
It is. All right. Are we ready for the last question?
That was it.
This one comes
Get the
from
drum
one of
roll.
our very own, a Mrs. Julia Wood. Have you ever
Yeah.
felt burnt out, and how do you get through it?
Yes is the answer for
Gross.
me.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
But like in general, yes. Podcast wise, not really yet. Because I think we've tried to give each of the team members the same amount of work, although I don't know if the others agree with me. Tanner's taken on a lot more. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's by choice or because he doesn't have a choice, but he's taken on a lot. And
No
I'm
choice.
trying, huh?
I said no choice.
But this season, my
That's fine.
goal is to support him more in that. But burnt out, I have felt in writing, and this is one of the reasons that I don't submit stories as much as I used to. Like I don't have a story in season 3, and that's fine. But yes, the short answer, yes.
I think the question is, how do you get through it?
Yeah. Like, what do you do to? Because there's
What
gonna
do
be
you What do you
people
do to
that.
toughen up a little bit?
Currently
And
Yeah.
getting through it. So I'll tell you when we're
um
done.
uh anything else, I've tried different hobbies. I've not picked up any of them because I've given up on most of them.
Not even
I've tr-
crocheting?
no, I sent Jinxie my crocheting stuff.
Oh dang.
So
Oh,
yeah. Well, I also have a tendonitis, which keeps me from crocheting
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Um, like I've tried crocheting, I've tried scrapbooking, junk journaling, taking walks, and so far none of it has really worked. So it's rest. Rest is good for the mind and the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we have to go there, I'm doing therapy. And honestly, that
Yeah.
helps me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just taking a break.
Yeah, a brain break is good.
mental health is important.
Very
It
much so.
is.
I normally just have a beer and suck it up. That's
Wish
how
I
I. That's
could.
how I get. That's
A
how I get through
true
it.
Midwest man.
Yeah. Yep.
Have
Just.
beer, suck it up. Let
Well,
that let that anger just fester into a ball in your gut until one day it kills you.
yeah. You
Yeah.
just shotgun a beer and then drink
Oh
one nice and slow,
yeah.
and then you put the shit on the screen and you could go for it. And also looking forward to the impression that we can make on our community. I think
Mhm.
that's probably a big part of how I get through it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I know
Same.
the listeners the listeners are gonna love it.
Yeah.
They're gonna eat that shit up.
Absolutely. As
Think
far as feeling burnt out, yeah, a lot. It's a lot of hot cold game when it's something more of a when I need to get it done, it can get done whenever, like writing a story if I don't have a deadline. I play a lot of hot cold with it. I'll have, times where it's good, times where it isn't. If it's something where I have to have it done, such as editing almost all of the stories for season 3 before I went off to my training over the summer, it was kind of a tough shit. I just kind of buckled down and went through it anyway, blasting quite a lot of angry music to force myself to do it anyway, even though I was like, did not want to at that time when I was getting the burnout because, I had to do it for the rest of the team. They were counting on me, so it kind of depends on the circumstances. Was really what it. But if I'm burned out, hot, cold, do something else, come back. What I like doing, if I have multiple stories writing, I'll popcorn from one story to the other.
Yeah, I think that's a big point to make is jumping from one project to the next, is having more than one that you can focus on.
I think if you
Yep.
can do that.
If
I
you
I
have,
can't.
Do
Exactly.
that,
If you
like, probably
I
don't
can't.
do that.
Well, I
No.
think if you have the opportunity to jump from one idea to the next, just to kind of keep things fresh.
if it works for you, because it
Yeah.
works for me. If I ever have more than one
'Cause-
project at a time, which lately I have not had.
Well, because if you buckle down too hard on one, then you're not going to be able to move on to the next. Just keep it, just, keep it fresh, keep it happy, keep it light, fresh.
Freshy.
Drink
All right,
water.
so I think that we covered all the things that we wanted to cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully this wasn't terribly too long for you.
It will be
2
for
hours.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we
What
want
is
to have
your
parting words, or do we want to just kill Craig? Like, just execute him?
Uh,
parting
Parting
words?
words. Love you.
Thank you for
Hugs
listening.
for everybody.
Bye.
The support, very
Much
cool of y'all.
Yeah.
Until next
you.
time,
Oh,
go listen to
Oh,
the BLF. Like,
and
follow, and support. And if you want to become a patron, go
we are
check out our
here.
patron page.
if you are a
about
writer,
the
voice
patrons?
actor, producer, or want to try your hand at any one of those three, reach out. We would love to work with you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to everything we do. It's really cool.
It is very
Yay.
cool.
For our patrons, thanks for the support. For everyone else, still, listening helps. Thanks for your support, too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Somebody help me wrangle Craig to the behind the shed so we can put him down.
So if
Craig,
we're
get over here.
if we're doing a shout out to our patrons, we're gonna go ahead and shout out to Kurt Wood. Who's the
Wait, are we
actor?
shouting out the
Hang
patrons?
on. Yeah, we're gonna shout out patrons. We're gonna go Ronan Komori.
Who is that?
Oh,
I don't
know.
no. Sounds like a loser.
Ronan!
Yeah, right?
Hey. We got Eric Phones supporting us as the
Yay.
legend tier patron. We got Kurt Wood as an apprentice. We have Kelly Sisson as a master.
Right.
Arthur Unk as a legend.
Who's that?
Whoop whoop.
He's the fucking G.
Hey, he's contributing more than we all
He's the
think
man.
he is.
Arthur's
More
the
than
man.
everyone else knows so far.
Yeah, we have Neil Skarupa as a journeyman.
Yeah, Neil.
Who's
Yay.
actually in the chat? What's up?
He's actually in here with us. Does he
He's
have a
right
word to
here.
share? Does he have
Hey.
something to share with us? So we got Doozer Pindan
Who's also in the chat?
also in the chat with
Also,
us.
Grace
We have
Christopher.
Christopher.
Hey.
We have Sigcorp with us.
Yeah.
We have Queen
Yeah.
Cam. Praise the Queen.
Or
Justin-
Whoop,
Yas
Justin-
Queen.
Justin
Dahl.
Dahl. He is
Whoop,
a
whoop.
master patron. And Nightmare
the
Rabbit,
master machinist.
who I have still yet to have a conversation with, but she is
Nightmare
supporting
Rabbit.
us.
Yes.
We love you.
Thank you.
We love all you guys. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
All
Much
the
love.
eternal love.
We want to give a
Thank
thanks
you,
to
thank you,
people
thank
who
you, thank
asked us
you.
questions, or is that a bit too
Thank you,
over?
thank you.
Questions. I thought we did that while we were doing it.
No, we want to
Questions,
thank them for the
oh,
questions.
Oh yeah, we shouted out the people.
Well, we'll
Alright,
thank
cool.
TJ Hodder. He's awesome. He submitted 3 questions.
Always
What a
Sigcorp,
beast.
Sigcorp gave us 1. Queen Cam gave us 3, 4. Love you. Woohoo! Brooks Bigley, he gave us 4 questions. We love you, and we're looking forward to all of the contribution that you give to the Baseline Feed podcast. Odd Pit Pat, thank you for lending us your voice and your patronage. Tori Miller, he's got 1 question. Love you anyway.
I love you, Tori. He's just being a butt.
Corey.
Somebody else
Aw.
fill this in for me, please.
That's
We
what we
love. Oh well, Jay Wood. Oh shit, girl.
I
what's
could
up?
have multiple
Your
windows open.
wife.
My wife, Jay
The
Wood,
rest
and
of management loves her too.
user Pindan. We're sorry that you still live in the UK and you haven't.
Yeah, that's
Lives
quite
here in the US,
unfortunate
but, you know,
for you,
whatever.
old chap. We love you,
Aw.
Coob.
So, especially with the heat wave right
We've
now, he's
dragged you
melting.
into this.
Yeah, that melting boy.
I'm sorry too. Yeah.
Yeah, apologize.
Go to bed now.
But we love all you knuckleheads.
No, it's time
we
for
will
him to
see
wake
you
up.
next time for maybe we'll try and do another one of these AMA things.
Maybe after each
Shorten it.
season.
Yeah, maybe once a season thing. That'd be cool.
Yay.
Or just tell
All right, you guys
people.
take care. We love you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for our first, hopefully annual episode of Ask Me Anything here on the Baseline feed. If you would like to be part of the next Ask Me Anything episode, don't be afraid to join our Discord community, or even sign up to be a supporter of the show on Patreon. We would probably send you our eternal love and gratitude. Keep your eyes out over the next couple of weeks for all of our preseason specials. We are also pretty excited about our Season 3 releasing on October 28th, so hopefully you'll tune in then. And we'll see you soon enough.